Here we go. 5 red lights will come on, and when they go off, we will be racing in New York City. Away we go. Great start from Alex Lynn. Really electrifying start from Daniel Abt. Watch for the yellow highlights. He's already down the inside, but Lynn is fighting him up to the apex of the corner. Will they make it round? It is so tight. Sam Bird,
he's making a move, yeah. And Alex Lynn, just exactly what he didn't want to happen. He got pushed out wide, and Daniel Abt takes the lead.
Well, as you said, 43 laps. It is a long, long race. They'll have a car change midway through. Nelson Piquet Jr. getting shuffled as they try.
I'm hearing carbon fibre cracking.
In the middle, yes, lots of noise, lots of bits of damage. But actually, doesn't look like anything's there because they're going through there so slowly.
Loic Duval in the black and white car, white nose, black tail, had contact with at least 2 other cars.
And Felix Rosenqvist made a move into turn 5. Big sort of slide jobs. I think he's made up a couple of spots.
Oh, and more trouble. That's Oliver Turvey going out wide with the turquoise highlights. The black and gold car stuck there in the middle of the road with Stephane Sarrazin.
One of the Jaguars has stopped in turn 6.
Right, he'll get going at the end of the field. They need to straighten themselves out a little. Everybody desperate to make up ground on this opening lap. Lucas di Grassi further down the order than where he started. He was 11th on the grid, and he comes through way down.
Nico Prost involved in that as well. Keep in mind, he has got to score points for Renault Edams in the absence of his teammate, Pierre Gasly's at the back.
Putain, ça m'a enclenché le full course yellow.
Okay, Nico Prost demanding a full course yellow. I'm not quite sure why.
Nico, on essaie de se refocus et on enchaîne des bons
team
tours.
telling him to get on with it. In fact, Lucas di Grassi, I miscounted, is up to 10th, so he's picked up a spot. There goes one of the Jaguars. Can't get round, broken steering, Dario.
Big damage to that. He's obviously had wheel-to-wheel contact, and you see the results. That's a real shame because Mitch Evans has been doing a very good job.
Now the only thing he can do now is try and get a fastest lap.
Do you think you can make it back to the pit lane, or do you want to exit at T1?
I can make it back.
As a race director talking to Mitch Evans, of course he can make it back, but how quickly...
be aware that they've let all cars pass. The leader is now in T7. T7, so stay on the total left of the T1.
Good information.
Wait until the whole field passed you.
Really good information from the race director.
So after that first last scramble, right now the order is Abt, Lynn, Bird, Vergne, Heidfeld, D'Ambrosio, Turvey, Stephane Sarrazin up to 8th, Nelson Piquet Jr. is 9th, and Lucas di Grassi remains in 10th place where he started.
Look at the big gap behind the red and white Mahindra car of Nick Heidfeld. Jerome D'Ambrosio with that white front and black rear. You can see Mitch Evans pulled over to the side there out of the hairpin. D'Ambrosio really the stopper in the bottle here. Look, nobody can get by him. He's got Oliver Turvey right behind him Stephane Sarrazin and Nelson Piquet Jr. in the other purple and black next EV machine, and then Lucas di Grassi. But they can't allow themselves to drop away from the leaders like this.
Did you hear the chirping there as everybody's locking the rear tires? You can hear the chunk of the differentials as they, and the transmission as they start trying to slow down. This is a situation right now. We've got the 2 DS Virgin cars, Lynn and Bird, 2nd and 3rd. This is where Sam Bird's experience comes in, and he's able to be more efficient with the power and still continue to make good lap time. And where Alex Lynn, unfortunately, his inexperience is maybe going to catch him out. Sam's got to get past Alex Lynn to then get attacking Daniel Abt if he wants to win this race.
There's 2 ways of doing this if you're Alex Lynn. You stick it out front and wait for the team to get on the telephone and say, let Sam through, or you try and negotiate it yourself and then follow him and learn. We talked about this in free practice. You know, he's not spent a lot of time actually driving the car. That might not be a bad idea to allow Sam Bird to do the hard work, preserve his own tyres, and then maybe Alex Lynn can capitalise later.
Fascinating when he said how much time he'd done in the simulator to get the experience for this debut, which he's obviously done so well.
Do those racing simulators put the drivers in traffic situations, or is it simply learning the car and the course?
Exactly, car and course, and they can do things like energy saving and just go for outright lap time. They can do car setup, all that. It does not help you with racing. And one of the things that Alex Lynn, since for a long time now, he's been driving cars with downforce, can't get close to the car in front. All of a sudden he's in the Formula E car and he's able to sit right on the gearbox of the car in front if he so wishes, and it's completely different. Everything he's learned up until this point, this is a variation on that, and he's done very well. Trust me, he's learned so quickly, but it's all learning experiences today. It's all new.
Pylon on the left of your screen, the blue column on the right is the amount of usable energy remaining in the batteries. It's battery life that limits these race cars.
Ooh, down the inside, Nelson Piquet makes a move.
He got a little hit there from Jerome once he got through, a little tap up the gearbox.
That's a change for 8th place.
On board with Lucas de Grassi. Still shown 10th.
Yeah.
But right there in the midst of that traffic.
Well, to make that move, Piquet has really held himself and Jerome D'Ambrosio up, so another gap opens in the queue behind Nick Heidfeld. You've got Turvey and Sarrazin, then a little gap back to the group we're looking at here. We're third in the queue with Lucas de Grassi.
Here's a replay of the start. You just watched Alex Lynn already pulling to the inside as soon as he got off the line, because he could tell he didn't get a good start, and he started to move over straight away. But by that point, he's trying to close the door after the horse had bolted. There's Daniel Abt down the inside. It actually looks like that inside part of the track was the cleaner of the two lines, because that was the line that the drivers have been running on. And then you see this complete traffic jam, and everybody did a great job not to get hit.
On board with Jean-Éric Vergne, third on the grid, little bit too much wheel spin, Dario.
And you can hear it chirping there as it's trying to get traction, and here comes Sam Bird up on the right-hand side in the DS Virgin car.
Yeah,
Lovely move.
locked up as well on the outside line, the dirtier part of the track.
And that was it.
Well, there's Holly, Sam Bird's partner, watching from the garage. Mother here as well, Diane Bird.
Well, the reason I brought up battery power earlier is because, as you see at the top of your screen, the race is only 43 laps long. That means the batteries, they've calculated, can run strong right to the halfway point of the race. There'll be no need to lift and coast, regenerate, recapture energy to power up those batteries. Tomorrow's race will be 49 laps, and they will need to recapture electricity.
Slippery surface flag out there on the exit of the hairpin. By the way, that was Lucas de Grassi's girlfriend, not Sam Bird's. Apologies to Holly.
I was going to say that had been news to Holly. You're getting him in trouble.
Awesome. That's good. That's good.
You hear this? It's awesome. Sam, he's obviously doing a very good job with energy consumption.
Sam Bird, Alex Lynn with 2% less energy than race leader Daniel Abt, and that perhaps is a legacy of being in the slipstream behind him. They're having to work a little harder for grip. Sam Bird already reporting high front brake temperatures.
What we're going to see today, usually it's sort of go to 50% of the race and then come in and pit swap cars. What we're going to see is more, there's a possibility of undercuts, and this is Lucas de Grassi. How close does he get?
Oh, well,
wow.
he didn't, but he picks up a space because Jerome D'Ambrosio ran right up the back, and Nelson Piquet, who was slow off the corner, Derek, because he ran out so wide he couldn't pick up the throttle or he'd hit the wall.
And Nelson picked it up thinking he would get out of the way, and you saw what happened. Look at the back wing. The back wing's damaged on, and the front wing front on that Dragon car. That is not good.
We've got a hot day here in New York, and when we have hot weather outside, we always think about battery cooling as being a limiting factor on these cars.
And that's what they've been saying. Batteries are going to be an issue today. Battery temperature might be an issue. But again, we might see some undercuts. We're going to see some strategy. What are people going to do? 47 seconds is your minimum pit stop time.
Now, there's Jay Penske, Boston Dragon Racing. You saw the damaged nose on the front of Jerome D'Ambrosio's car. Jerome is in 10th. The man behind him, red and white, Felix Rosenqvist. Where did he start on the grid? 17th place. Rosenqvist already 17th
Possible
to 11th.
debris on circuit. Possible debris on circuit. Maybe turn 6.
Rosenqvist not the kind of guy who's going to wait for a safety car. Rosenqvist is the kind of guy who's going to take every single racing opportunity there is.
See debris on the outside of that corner. Off the racing line, though, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I love the fact when you talk to Felix, he's all very, I'm going to take it easy today, I'm going to do this, and he goes out and he just lights it up. Just attacks. D'Ambrosio is getting the black flag with an orange disc, the mechanical failure flag. He's got it
Very good.
hit
That was 1.20.
to replace that rear wing.
Keep doing that. Very good.
I heard Sam Bird's engineer giving him some encouragement. He's doing a good job.
Still being mentored positively. There's Felix Rosenqvist, the red and white car right in the middle of the shot there in that big pack of cars. And the Renault Edam's cars now 18th and 19th, or last and last but one, as we prefer to call it if we weren't Jean-Paul Driot.
That is not good.
That's on the far end of not good. That's astonishing.
6 minutes into the race, the fan boost voting is closed. Thanks for your votes at FIAFormulaE.com and on Twitter. The 3 biggest vote getters, Daniel Abt, Jean-Éric Vergne, and Lucas de Grassi, so they will have that extra boost of power, 100 kilojoules, in their second of the 2 race cars they'll use here.
Well, now that means for Daniel Abt, the race leader, if there is a change in the order in the pit strategy, for some reason he doesn't come back out in front or doesn't stay out in front, he'll have that extra qualifying style power, 5-second burst of that to try and use to get himself back up the order. And for Lucas de Grassi, the same deal, you know, up into 9th place
Chris,
now.
Come on, man. There's over-defending now.
All right.
You heard
Sam Bird in 3rd, complaining about his teammate.
Understood.
Tough decision to make there, because obviously This is the back from Alex Lynn's car going through turn 8 and 9. D'Ambrosio is coming in.
Both drivers do not over-defend. Both drivers do not over-defend.
Mitch Evans, all he can do today is try and take 1 point for fastest lap. Jerome D'Ambrosio, all he can try and do today is take 1 point for fastest lap. There goes Mitchell, and Jerome will follow him out.
And Daniel Abt can use that. Oh, we've seen him. We've got to move. We've got to overtake him. It looks like Nick Heidfeld.
The drag race.
And that's Jean-Éric Vergne and Nick Heidfeld. And there's the check. That's position change. Now, that's exactly what Virgin needed. They needed to be away from Heidfeld and Vergne to be able to shuffle their drivers without losing places.
Martin, at this point, we now need to see Sam Bird go. And he looks like he's catching him already. But if your teammate gets out your way for you, you cannot then hold him up. Got to go. And it looks like he's catching him already. And if I'm Daniel Abt, I've just looked in the mirror and gone, uh-oh.
Because they're playing the old 1-2. You know, nice cop, nasty cop. Here comes Sam Bird, you know. And the deal for Alex Lynn is perfect because Birdie will do the hard work. If he leaves the leader offline, then Lynn's got to go through as well.
What are you suggesting, Martin?
Hey?
What are you suggesting?
No,
I know what you're saying.
If he can get up the inside, then Abt is going to be struggling to get off the corner, and Alex Lynn's got to go through as well.
This is a great lesson for Alex Lynn to follow and watch Sam. Watch what he does, how he makes lap time in that DS Virgin car. And you can definitely learn a lot. I don't know, he's going to have to catch up here because it looks like Sam Bird, in my opinion, is going to be attacking Daniel Abt within a lap or two maximum.
Rosenqvist from 17th place is in the point in 10th position. Teammate Nick Heidfeld up to 4th position again, as we saw for the last couple of race weekends. We're pretty much almost from Monaco on, so halfway through the season, the Mahindras, the red and white cars, have really got race pace.
And you've got to look at the Dragon cars and just say what could have been. Duval 11th, and obviously D'Ambrosio is in the pit. And there's Sam Bird having a look. Oh, I don't know,
It didn't take long, did it, for him to have a bit of a lunge? But look at Nick Heidfeld, the red and white car, right behind Alex Lynn. So that lead quintet is still nose to tail.
That wasn't a smart move from Sam, trying to make that pass as late as he did.
And it's worth noting that Mahindra and DS Virgin are in a battle in the Teams Championship. DS Virgin trails by 52 points, but both of their cars are ahead of both of the Mahindras right now.
Yeah, the Virgin guys were saying between qualifying and the race, our real focus now is to try and get back in front of Mahindra in the Teams competition.
If you watch the cars through that long, fast turn, in turn 10, the left-hander, you watch the oversteer that the DS Virgin car executes every lap, and as they've said, the car is very good through the hairpins. It's a little oversteering the quick stuff.
And in the next group, turquoise car of Oliver Turvey being almost attacked there by Stephane Sarrazin. Sarrazin looking really racy. It's only his second race weekend in that car, having changed teams. But he said after qualifying, didn't he, I feel much more comfortable in the car, really got my head around it, and boy, it really shows. Here, though, is your race leader, Daniel Abt. Pressure, pressure, pressure. He has never won a Formula E race. Sam Bird has that experience, and Abt will be aware of that as well.
Oh, absolutely. And Sam Bird's
Keep me updated on energy every lap.
He's got 3% less energy than Daniel Abt. It doesn't matter at this point, in my opinion, because as I said, they can easily make it. It's just in what lap they're going to pit. Sam Bird will want clear track, and I'm sure as soon as that window opens, he will try to do it. This is
3% less energy than us. Heidfeld and Vergne 1% better than us.
Yeah. Well, Heidfeld and Vergne aren't an issue unless the top three go in a lap earlier, and then Heidfeld and Vergne are released with that extra little bit of energy maybe to really fire it up and try and get in amongst these podium positions when they come out of the pits. But the gaps are going to be tiny.
If you're Sam Bird, if it stays like this, you want to get in the pits, I would say, as soon as it opens, get that clear track. If you are released into clear track, obviously being the leader right now, he might at this point make a pit stop. I'm just trying to look at the gaps, and no, he would still be in clear track actually.
Mitch Evans has set the fastest race lap, a 1 minute 4.6. Jerome D'Ambrosio, 1 minute 5.7. They're chasing that bonus point. But
10 laps
Daniel Abt, the race leader, a
1:05.8. That was good. Car target 1.31.
So the team's continually monitoring the energy usage lap by lap of these drivers in their cars. They don't have large ship-to-shore telemetry. Abt is starting to sound much more rattled than Sam Bird and Alex Lynn.
He's a little out of breath. It is very humid and hot out there, but yeah, we notice that pitch of the voice goes up a little bit, and the engineers can tell as well as we can what's going on, and they can understand that and hopefully try and calm the driver down.
With Dario as a driver, it's easier to hunt, isn't it? Because you know where you're going to go. When you're trying to defend or when you're trying to second-guess Bird, you've got to be looking in both mirrors. You're thinking twice as much as he is.
Depends how fast you are in this situation. It's definitely... No, but what I mean is, in this situation...
And then we see how if we can reach the region.
It's so much easier to be in that position of Sam Bird is in, as you say. If he can drive away, then it's different.
Yeah. And at the moment, he can't drive away because the DS Virgin car. But don't forget, Sam Bird was saying earlier in the weekend, the DS Virgin car really does use its rear tyres a little bit more than many of its rivals. Whether that's going to play in later in this run into Daniel Abt's hands or not remains to be seen. Still only 2% less energy. That's not a lap shy for Sam Bird, but it's not an extra lap for Daniel Abt either.
9 and 3 turns to the rear.
Well, having said that there was no concern about regen in this race, suddenly we're hearing a lot of nervous conversations between pit and driver about that very subject. There you see the order
that I have to defend.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Sam Bird having another look. He feels that Daniel Abt is struggling under braking, and the Abt's team are trying to tell him to adjust the balance of the car under braking to get more regen. He said, I have to defend, which means he wants control of the brakes, Dario, not to feed the battery so much.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants to drive it as a more traditional car, and with just normal mechanical brakes. They want him to do more regen, so when the engine is basically in reverse, it's making more regen. The problem is that changes the brake balance massively. So this is the argument between team and driver.
Heidfeld into the back of Alex Lynn's third-place car there. He's got Jean-Éric Vergne behind him. Heidfeld's in a difficult position. Look, he's got the two DS Virgin cars in front. They're going to be tough nuts to crack, and yet he's got Jean-Éric Vergne behind, trying to, hammer on the back door to try to get that position back.
Let's get past them then.
Little red disc means that driver has the fan boost power coming up in their second car. And look over on the left side of your screen on that column. And back to our championship battle. Poor Sebastian Buemi looking on. He needs his teammate Nico Prost, currently 16th, and Pierre Gasly, number in 18th spot.
Bit of a move I was going to say there.
He needs him to take points off his rivals, and they're not doing it from back there.
And also from the third-place team for Mahindra, those two Renault Edams cars are scoring exactly a big fat 0 in the team's championship. So this is working a lot better for Mahindra.
Is very close.
Because now Rosenqvist,
he's done him.
Oh, he's got him. He's got him.
He's got to get it through the corner, though.
For the lead.
Fantastic.
I was just about to say, Rosenqvist already up to 8th. We haven't seen it. There's the second red and white car. Look, only in front of him is Lucas de Grassi in 7th. So what happened there? Where have the cars in front? Piquet's dropped way down. They've got by Turvey.
Look how close he is coming out of the turn 5. Oh, too late defending.
Yeah.
Tactical drift.
Beautiful move by Sam Bird.
He thought he'd closed the gap enough, and Sam Bird sent it late, and he was in two minds as to whether to try and shunt the Bird's car into the wall, and decided, no, I'll keep all my wheels. So Sam Bird has the lead.
So our options now are to
Chris Gordon, the chief engineer there at DS Virgin, and down the inside comes Nick Heidfeld. He takes third away from Alex Lynn. So the Mahindras are marching to the front. Dilbag Gill there with the beard in the cap, looking like he loves that.
He takes it seriously, old Dilbag, doesn't he?
Well, you're kidding. But he's being rewarded, isn't he? So Heidfeld up to third, and from 17th on the grid, Rosenqvist now up to 8th. Can they get two cars on the podium?
Yeah.
Yes.
What we're seeing here is that the balance of some of these cars, particularly Daniel Abt, the balance maybe isn't quite right, so he can't carry the speed through the corner, so he's having to overslow the car and then accelerate again to get the momentum back up, and he's using energy doing it. Whereas it looks like Sam Bird is able to really hustle that momentum through the corner. Look, he dummies, a bit of a dummy, and he sold him the experience of Nick Heidfeld. Sold him Alex Lynn, a bit of a dummy there.
Well, the clock is quickly striking midnight for our Cinderella. Alex Lynn, who started on pole, has faded to 4th, and now he's under attack and will drop to 5th.
So Jean-Éric Vergne sends it up the inside. And again, qualifying he did a stunning job. Nobody was expecting him to win the race in his first day in the job. They were just hoping he'd do a nice, solid job. They really believe he's got an awful lot of ability, and I don't think they're wrong in that estimation. But Don't forget, Jean-Éric Vergne's been in this, you know, since the first season. So has Sam
There's a
Bird.
bit of wing. Quite a lot of wing
as well,
actually lying on the
The
track.
crash attenuators off the side of the car?
Looks like, yeah. Looks
What
exactly like
there?
that.
What are they doing down there? Someone must have gotten a wheel interlocked with someone else.
This could be interesting.
Mitch Evans and Jerome D'Ambrosio both in the pits now, having had their shot at a quick lap. Evans with the extra point in his pocket.
Turn 1, degrees, exit turn 1.
Apparently the window opens around about lap 19. If you're going to be very, very aggressive.
43?
Yes, it will open at lap 19 if you're going to be aggressive.
That's Lucas de Grassi kind of long odds, isn't it?
6.57.
Okay, Antonio Felix da Costa makes contact with the Jaguar. Oh,
That was never on.
yeah.
Their debris.
Jeez, that was never on.
So that was the Jag of Adam Carroll.
But that was heavy defending by Adam. Yeah, quite honestly, it was two hard-headed drivers. And there's Jean-Éric Vergne passing Heidfeld.
Up to third, Jev into third place, the Frenchman. So just to recap, we can do a lot of recapping. We expected this racetrack to produce lots of passing, and boy has it. Sam Bird leads from poleman Daniel Abt. Jev up to third, Nick Heidfeld still fourth, Alex Lynn in fifth, and little gap back to Stephane Sarrazin. But it is a little gap. It's now 38 hundredths of a second because Sarrazin has jumped the gap from the peloton up to the lead group, and there he is right behind Alex Lynn. So
Sarrazin plus 5 places from his grid spot. Very nice.
Second best improver.
The crowd in the grandstand as they come down to turn 1. Bird, Abt, Vergne, Heidfeld, Lynn, Sarrazin. Those are the top 6 right now, and Sarrazin doing very well on energy, having come forward as far as he has.
And look there, just going through shot, Lucas de Grassi. He is closing up on this group. He's up to 7th place, so he's in the points. He's scoring points now, and his rival
Sarrazin there.
Yeah, Sarrazin goes by Alex Lynn as well. Did Alex Lynn have a bump that affected the car? He got tagged from behind by Heidfeld.
I think we're just seeing that inexperience, and it's just because these cars are so peculiar to drive compared to everything else he's driven.
Yeah. How did Alex Lynn suddenly go to 9% usable energy?
I wonder if he has had some little damage. He did get tagged from behind by Heidfeld. It may not be that, but he can't be long. He'll be... Yeah, but look at Sam Bird, the leader, 10%. So, in fact, Alex Lynn only a fraction behind. They're going to be stopping earlier than some of their rivals, Dario.
Are we looking at Daniel Abt and Nick Heidfeld going a lap longer because... And Stephane Sarrazin just got a bit more usable.
Yeah.
Pierre Gasly in 14th, he's got 15%. He's going to have to do something because
somebody's not going to make halfway at this point.
Piquet Jr., only 9% energy left. He's down in 16th position, so he's going to be... Okay, Antonio Felix da Costa has stopped. He's on an outlap, so Antonio Felix da Costa has already pitted in the Amelin Andretti car. 5% energy for Alex Lynn. Oh, down the inside, Lucas de Grassi. Yeah, nice clean pass. And Alex Lynn's not going to make any silly errors by taking wheels off his car or anybody else's in this race. What's Sam Bird calling in? He's the race leader. Alex Lynn down to 4%.
Yeah, Lynn had to come in. He was down to 4%.
Box this lap, you'll hear. And Alex Lynn is in.
He will get a clear track now. He's got to get out and attack. And every lap he does, he's learning something.
First actual full pressure race car change for him as well. Again, these are all these firsts, things you don't do before you get into Formula E. Exactly so.
This has got to be such an odd thing to actually change car.
Now,
Bob.
The minimum pit stop time for this race is 47 seconds. You cannot do your car exchange any quicker than that.
And the reason for that is they want to make sure the belts are tight, nobody's taking any unnecessary crazy risks, driving the car into the tent too quickly, mowing down mechanics. I think is a very sensible rule.
Box now.
Sam Bird coming in now. He's calling for it. Adam Carroll coming in now. Oliver Turvey, Felix Rosenqvist, Jean-Éric Vergne, perhaps Nico Prost for sure, Nelson Piquet Jr. for sure. Suddenly, there's this flood going in. So for Alex Lynn, coming out as everyone else is coming in, is that going to help him come back up the order? Leaders in. Daniel Abt stays out.
As does Nick Heidfeld.
Yeah,
they've got to go. This is going to be their fastest lap of the race. They've got to go to make any positions up.
Last time Sam Bird was in the lead of a race in Hong Kong, jumped into the spare car, wouldn't start.
Wouldn't select gear, would it? You could hear him, you could actually hear him shouting from this position.
Yeah.
Felix Rosenqvist.
Yeah. Wow, what a start to the E-Prix weekend Felix Rosenqvist has had. In his Nico Prost. Abt, Heidfeld, Grassi, Gasly stays out, Friens stays out. They're the late stoppers. There goes our race leader, Sam Bird, or the erstwhile race leader, on his outlap. Only
was ahead of last time, isn't he?
Yep.
49.1 minimum pit stop time, so that's
following him out is Jean-Éric Vergne.
Talk 9.
Sarrazin coming out into what is turn 6.
Okay, there's Alex Lynn right behind him, Felix Rosenqvist. And now this is where half the field's already on track, the other half is mingling in.
Did you see it, the little downforce that Jaguar had? Adam Carroll's Jaguar, the back wing was completely laid flat.
Abt, Heidfeld and Grassi, that they were the top 3. Gasly and Friens on 1% must come in now, or they're just going to be stuck at the trackside.
Well, I was about to say, we saw Robin Friens go by the pit out, showing.
No, that was his teammate
1%.
Who stopped a lap earlier. That was Antonio Felix da Costa. I'm sure it must have been, otherwise Friens
he's
has just
in now.
thrown it away.
Yeah. See the stopwatch on the
there's
stops
Gasly.
of yellow box, white boxes.
So now, how much of a lead is Sam Bird going to A, have, and B, be able to keep?
He's got to push like hell here. He's got to absolutely push, because the last thing he wants to do is come around turn 5 and see somebody exit the pit.
Like
I think that was
Daniel
Sam Bird just leaving. I think he's okay though.
Yeah, because he comes out in front of Stephane Sarrazin, Daniel Abt. Yes, he does. Sarrazin up to 4th in the pit changes. Wow, what a race Sarrazin is having.
Lost a load of time there.
Lynn up to 5th, then Grassi in 6th. That was good for him. Then the Rosenqvist, well, in fact, Grassi is behind Rosenqvist now.
And Heidfeld behind them both.
So Sam Bird is our race leader.
Jean-Éric Vergne just rounded the corner.
Gold highlights. And then in 3rd place, Daniel Abt. 4th place, Stephane Sarrazin. There he is, black and gold. Then 5th place, there's the purple of Alex Lynn. Then Felix Rosenqvist, who got ahead of Lucas de Grassi on the outlap. And Nick Heidfeld in 8th position. Loic Duval in 9th and Ollie Turvey in 10th.
Okay, L21, L21.
Okay, so drivers, Bob, in 2nd and 3rd, both with fan boost to use in this part of the race. Game on, everybody.
And right now, that man, Lucas de Grassi, in the lime green and yellow helmet, is in a position to pick up just 4 points on his rival, Sebastian Buemi.
He's going to have to do better than that if he wants the championship, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He has such an odd style, Lucas. When he turns the corner, he doesn't lean his head into the corner. He leans it like he's looking through the corner. So he turns it in the opposite direction a lot of the time. When he does a hairpin, it's quite an odd style.
Ooh, chocolate for Alex Lynn.
What
Lock
happened?
up at the back of the car.
Lynn's got a
Mechanical,
problem.
he's out. So Alex Lynn.
Has he broken the suspension?
Or was it just a massive lock-up? Something
No.
he actually then tried to make the chicane
It
again.
looks like the one of the front tires is off the ground. So is it a broken a push rod in the rear?
Right, well that's a gimme, isn't it, for Lucas de Grassi? His problem is he's stuck behind the two, or between the two Mahindras. He might almost want to let Rosenqvist and Heidfeld get in front of him and lead him through.
Right, drive shaft
failure.
Good call.
Before you jump out, remove P2.
Such
Put
a
the
shame.
car in P0.
All right, well, whatever the end result of the mechanical failure is, there's no question Alex Lynn has run his flag up the flagpole, and everybody knows who he is now, even if they'd never followed his career before.
Talk about the highs and the lows of racing.
There you go.
It's normally you see it over a weekend. In Formula E, you see it over a day.
Well, I guess the good thing is he's got another shot tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep, and he'll be more determined than ever with some experience in his back pocket.
And listen, by the way, heads up to our corner workers, all of whom have come here from Sports Car Club of America, from all over the USA, at their own expense, unpaid volunteers to look after the drivers, to keep everybody safe. And there you go, big snap at the back of the car. Did a good job to keep it out of the wall and to stay out of everybody else's way. And he was just trying to drive out of that chicane, so he's less of a danger.
And take all these components in the drivetrain and the gearbox, you take everything as light as you possibly make it, and because you want as little drag as possible on it to be more efficient and faster, and this is the price you pay.
We've got a yellow flag at turn 10, so the fastest corner in the track is no longer quite so fast. Sam Bird, the race leader, by 1.6 seconds from Jean-Éric Vergne in the black and gold car. You can see the two of them in shot. Then 4.5 seconds, nearly 5 seconds back, is Daniel Abt in third. Stephane Sarrazin is all over the back of him, half a second or so behind. Then there's a gap back to Felix Rosenqvist, Lucas de Grassi, Nick Heidfeld. Loic Duval another second away from them. Sort of no man's land on his own in 8th place.
That's a good crowd.
That's a really good crowd. And do you know what? Without any shade there, that's a hot crowd too. No wonder they're fanning themselves. It is hot in the sun.
Absolutely.
I'm watching the Techeetah boys right now. We've had good effort from both of them, one driver at a time in the past, but now they're second and fourth. Just a position to get both drivers on the podium.
Yeah, they are. Just to flag up very quickly, Mauro Engel has just gone into the pit lane.
300 for the front right.
It's that brake temperatures. Those brake temperatures Sam Bird is talking about there. He was concerned about the front brake temperatures before.
21.58.
That's the energy he used in that last lap. But yeah, brake temperatures are so critical.
Car target
when you work in a
1.27,
very narrow
1.21
temperature window.
Good. Keep doing 1.21.
Mauro Engel, who started 20th in the pit lane after having set the fastest race lap, a 103.8. The leader's only doing 105s. It's a battle between him, Jerome D'Ambrosio, and Mitch Evans to try and get the bonus point for the Visa Fast lap.
Now, Sam Bird at this point, he's 1.7 seconds ahead. He cannot slow down. He's got to stay in that rhythm that's got him to where he is. He's got to keep going, keep that whole flow that works when it's going so well on a street course. Because the last thing he wants to do is slow it down a little bit, and he will be able to get back into it.
Third place in the green, yellow and red Abt Schaeffler car. Daniel Abt seems to be a lot more fluid and a lot quicker, well, not a lot quicker, but quicker in this car, staying ahead of Stephane Sarrazin than he was in the first part of the race, in car number 1, if you like. There's Sarrazin, and then the red and white train. And you see Felix Rosenqvist and Nick Heidfeld with Lucas de Grassi between them. Duval creeping a little closer, but Oliver Turvey here and Adam Carroll in 10th place in the points, just ahead of Tom Dillman. There's Gasly and Prost. Now they're working together, aren't they, to try and work through traffic ahead of Frins, Da Costa and Piquet, who's dropped right to the tail of the running cars.
Yeah, they're nose to tail as well. They're just not having a good day. No. They just say they cannot get the front of the car to work. We cannot get it to turn. It does not want to turn. And when you do that, you cannot carry speed. You cannot, because the car understeers. You have to over slow at an entry. You then have to get back on the throttle. You have to use more power to do it. You have to have the car very oversteered. The front has to be incredibly positive to be able to save energy.
Right, Lucas de Grassi is going for it. He's activated the fan boost. He wants to get by Felix Rosenqvist. This is his nose camera. Not quite close enough to have a shot there, and he overran the corner a little, Dario, as well.
Yeah, not a well thought out pass. And normally Lucas really thinks these things through. You see the Jagger going very slowly on the right side of your screen.
Yeah, still
getting us away.
Back to the pits.
Yeah, a little nudge. When they're sitting in the car, they cannot see the nose. So when you see them nudging like that, it's not that they're just really doing it. They cannot see to judge. Well, they might be, but you can't see how close they are. You see this heads-up display. Unfortunately, the driver does not have all this information. Otherwise, they would definitely get confused. I know I would. But you see the fastest lap, 103.8. You see the throttle position, the power they're using.
Position am I?
P6. P6.
Yeah, that's de Grassi getting feedback. Where am I in the race? I know who I'm stuck behind, but what position am I in? And how much do I really have to push? The answer, Lucas, is you really have to push. If there's a car in front of you, it's one car too many.
Every point counts. Yeah. We saw that last year. We've seen it in the IndyCar Championship.
4% more than Rosenqvist.
That's right. So he's going to have to try and preserve that energy advantage over Rosenqvist to try and have a run on him later in the race. But with 200 kilowatts, he couldn't get by.
4 more.
This is where the radios need to be clear. You need to be able to communicate clearly. And with that crackling we saw, we heard it from Jean-Éric Vergne in practice today, it just creates confusion.
Listen, de Grassi's not in attack mode now, is he? He's in defend mode, because Heidfeld is the one here who's got the pace, not de Grassi.
You think?
Yeah,
You don't think he's going to have a go at Felix Rosenqvist?
Nick's all over the back of de Grassi. De Grassi's got nothing. With 200 kilowatts, he couldn't get alongside Rosenqvist.
He tried it. I thought he tried it in an odd spot.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. All will become clear. That's why we're watching. That's why the people at home are watching.
By the way, the slow Jaguar, I think that was Mitch Evans coming back out to try and go for the fastest lap point again.
Right.
So he's waiting for the queue to go by, and then he'll try and light it up again.
Well, that'll make a difference in the Drivers' Championship. If Mauro Engel held on to it, that 1 point for Visa Fast Lap would move him into a three-way tie for 12th in the drivers' points with Mitch Evans and Robin Frins. If Evans concedes it back, he breaks that tie with Frins.
Well, one thing we know is Frins isn't going to get it here.
That's right. Yeah.
what we're seeing, he's looking, but no, and you saw Felix, as soon as Lucas de Grassi pulled out, Felix looked in the mirror. That's what Lucas is trying to do, he's trying to rattle him. But we're talking about the championship. Every one of these drivers right now is feeling pressure, whether it's guys going for the championship or guys just trying to hang on to their jobs. It's right through this field, and in every series in the world, the drivers are feeling the pressure.
Well, listen, don't forget, the guy in front of de Grassi is third in the championship, trying to catch Lucas and Sebastian Buemi. He can win the championship, Felix Rosenqvist. It's not just about the top two.
85.
So
it'd be a lot easier if he was sort of 3 places further up.
Yeah, but is he going to let de Grassi go by now?
Oh, God,
is
no.
he? Heck.
No, I absolutely agreed. If you're making a pass into one, it's got to start here, all the way through turn 9, build that momentum through 10, get on the gearbox, and then try and get down the inside into the braking zone into 1. So it starts quite a way back.
Great shot there of them flying down one way and the leaders flying back the other way, and there's literally about 4 foot of space between them.
3% more.
You heard it. This reminds me of the old Helsinki track in the docks that we used to race with DTM. It's quite a similar feeling to the track.
All through. Hang on, is that Adam Carroll? Yes, it is. So that's Tom Dillman and Pierre Gasly find their way through, but Nico Cross does not. He wasn't close enough. So Adam Carroll losing 2 spots there, getting shuffled out of the top 10.
We are seeing flashes from the Jaguar boys, and especially the cars, and the drivers are very, very good, but we're seeing flashes from the cars now. They are starting to be able to compete. First year, and I think they've made good progress.
And of course, for them, it's all about learning how this business works, finding out what they've designed, where the weak points are, and moving on in season 4, their season
12 laps
2.
to go. 12
to go, and we've got still 53% energy for our race leaders, 56%, 55 for Daniel Abt. The man with most energy, usable energy, and that's how full the tank is basically in petrol terms, is Nick Heidfeld, who's still on the gearbox of Lucas de Grassi.
Rosenqvist, and Heidfeld is 2% better than us.
And this is the battle. This is the battle on the track. Otherwise, there's some fairly good spots. Verne has got within a second of Sam Bird up front, but he's, as I say that, he's just got back. But they're a second apart. But this is the battle. Big move from Tom Dillman. Look, late he left it on the brakes, got it stopped.
And then the doors open.
Yep.
And that was great piece of driving. Really good piece of heads-up driving by Pierre Gasly.
See, look in the mirror, and he's locked the outside front, which is very unusual to lock the unloaded, or the loaded tyre, should I say.
Road drops away, doesn't it, in a little undulation on the outside, and Gasly, hey, listen, GP3, GP2, that teaches you to run wheel to wheel with people very tight. Not too many opportunities, because both of those categories where Pierre Gasly has raced and been champion, of course, are drivers in identical cars, same as here.
Difference is here you can get really close.
Rosenqvist under real pressure. De Grassi had a really good lunge, Dario.
Yeah, he's going to have to. It's a very brave move if he does it. He's going to the wrong side because Felix Rosenqvist is defending. Hear him locking the tyres.
Round he goes De Grassi.
Oh no! I mean, that's De Grassi just used the experience and it just suckered him into a mistake.
Did you hit something? Or is the car okay?
Looks like the car was okay.
At this point, you're thinking, just to be quiet a minute, let me get the car back going in the right direction, please.
Right.
Not really okay.
Not really okay. There was something coming out from underneath it.
Okay, Heidfeld behind us, 2%
I think the back wing's damaged. I can see smoke.
Smoking heavily.
Oh
yeah, hasn't got a back wing.
Yeah. It's dragging along the ground behind.
He knows that.
Not that okay.
You can see the car now. Your rear wing is hanging. Very carefully, let's see.
This is what Felix did not
Felix,
want.
there's a black-orange flag for you. Black-orange flag for you. Please pit.
Okay, that's the race director informing him that his red arrow style smoke signals.
Should I pit straight away?
Yes.
Yes, you have to pit straight away.
He's got 3 corners.
Control. You have to pit now.
I have 10 laps to go.
That was de Grassi.
P5. He's 4 seconds behind Sarrazin though. Yeah. Okay, see that he's Felix just went in too hot, too tight, and too hot.
And dashboard.
Yep.
Just.
I have to say that was a great move from Lucas de Grassi, just to crowd him, just to get him thinking about it, and you saw the result.
Forcing Rosenqvist to take his eyes off the road for just that split second, perhaps.
And just on that narrow line, when he tried to carry that speed in, the grip just was not there as he turned in. He lost the back end of the car, and You see how much on edge these guys are. It doesn't look like it, but you see how much on edge when there's little mistake or moving off line like that can make the difference. Now Felix needs a safety car.
And Lucas forced him into defending shallow into the corner. He was never going to make it round at that speed. New rear end will go on.
It's not going on as quickly as they would like.
And unfortunately, he's now got little chance of setting the fastest lap. What about our race leader, Sam Bird? Still a second clear of Jean-Éric Vergne. And that gap is just creeping out from 1.1 now to 1.7 seconds.
But it was a bit ragged there. Sam has locked the rears into that last corner.
So
he's trying.
The rear end of that Virgin car uses its tyres. He knows that more than its rivals, particularly those with a Renault transmission like the Techeetah car. I think today is the day of what might have been, isn't it, for Felix Rosenqvist? He comes out a lap down behind his teammate. He's going to have to put it all to bed and then do it all again tomorrow.
Maro Engel's trying to do the fastest lap.
9, 3 turns to the rear. Brake 9.
He's done the quickest first segment. And
there's your leader, Sam Bird.
They're talking about different brake balances. As the battery heats up, there's less regen available, so they have to then move the brake balance to adjust it.
Checking the gaps from Sam Bird back to Jean-Éric Vergne right there in the black and gold Techeetah car. Here comes Daniel Abt, having the race of his season thus far.
Energy is the
Stephane
same.
Sarrazin in the second Techeetah. Lucas de Grassi now up to 5th. Nick Heidfeld.
9.30.
We have Felix Rosenqvist pulling over to let traffic by. So Heidfeld 6th, then Loic Duval, Oliver Turvey, Pierre Gasly. Oh, looks like Rosenqvist got more problems than just that rear wing. Excuse me.
Oh my goodness, that is Nick Heidfeld. He's dropping down the order, and that means
look at the right rear. You have already 51
Daniel
degrees.
Abt is in 3rd. Yeah, broken right rear suspension. Lucas de Grassi now up to 5th position. So he's had 2 positions from Mahindra cars, Lucas de Grassi.
Normally, if he'd hit the wall, it would be towing out. But he's towing in. It's like he's broken the top wishbone.
Now then, are we going to get a safety car? Mitch Evans out, setting a fastest race lap. So too Maro Engel. They're chasing it. They won't get one on this lap, but they are both out there, away from our leaders, independently battling for the extra point.
They're asking Heidfeld if he hit the wall.
It's either that or the curb, really taking a thump on that big curb. The question is, are we going to get a safety car?
So it sounds like he hit the wall a number of laps ago and the component finally failed on him.
Well, he's down at turn 4.
This is the problem. This is one of the challenges in street racing. A slight mistake, there's not acres of runoff, you're going to meet that wall.
He's down at turn 4. Before he gets to the next corner, it's pit in, but he can't get the car moving. Oh, he has got the car moving. No, that's not him. That's Rosenqvist.
It's all happening.
Well, yellow flags are out, so everybody's...
Okay, let's see what we can see.
Ooh. Yeah, yeah.
Ran over the curb. Look at it break right there.
Well, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, wasn't it?
It looked like the push rod broke. So I wonder if it's just overusing the curb or if he'd weakened it by hitting the wall, as he said.
Upper suspension link. White flag for a slow car on track.
Safety car
Safety cars been dispatched.
Yeah, because Nick Heidfeld can't move. So there's Bruno Carrera, our safety car driver in the re-liveried Qualcomm safety car.
I apologize if Nick Heidfeld's language was offensive.
Didn't hear him swear.
I didn't hear him at all.
Driver's language generally in situations like that can
Safety
be, so
first.
apologies for that.
7.10.
Sam sounds remarkably calm.
The safety car is on the exit of turn 6. Safety car exit of turn 6.
Put yourself in his shoes. You had a 2-second lead. It's gone to nothing, and he's dead calm.
Safety car waiting for the race leader, Sam Bird. He'll pick him up here.
Stay behind.
Neutralize
safety car,
the race as Nick Heidfeld makes his way through the fence. 5 laps to go. We should be able to get the race
save as much energy as you can.
back underway.
The situation as we get closer. And then obviously think about your brake temps.
So we're probably going to have a 3-lap sprint to the finish. Energy's not an issue.
When it comes to
Green white checker.
Hopefully the batteries have cooled down a little bit. And just
Lucas,
have maximum attack.
Well, part of the problem, of course, is they're not going fast enough for the batteries to cool.
No, if I'm Jean-Éric,
at the end, you should really clear all the cars.
Let's hear Sam. Jean-Éric Vergne, nothing to lose. Daniel,
yeah, copy
nothing
that.
to
Understood,
lose.
Sam. Especially now the field is bunched up. It's much
Sarrazin.
more likely.
I'm checking.
Pull out,
Nothing to lose.
Could be a problem.
Sorry, it's a bit confusing here, but
Yeah.
with 2 radio channels open.
We'll pass that on.
Grassi is the man who
brake 8.
could make a
2.5
big
turns,
move
so
here.
brake 8.
Okay, it should be L5. L5. Last time we checked, it was correct.
Okay, then
that's
double
Sam.
check it.
That's
I have
Lucas
5
Grassi's
now.
engineer.
It's almost flat out already for me.
Copy.
And they will be worrying about temperature. The battery's not doing so much work now. They're not regenning. They're not, you know, there's not so much energy flowing backwards and forwards through the motor generator, through the electronics.
Did I hear De Grassi say he's pretty much flat out anyway? That was his pace. That's what it sounded like, which is a bit
like
worrying
that, yes.
because, as I said, I mean, Duval's got nothing to lose. Oliver Turvey, really nothing to lose either. The only guys you're worried about, Sam Bird and Lucas De Grassi, the sort of, they're obviously Sam's worried about the race win, but these other guys, they're going to attack like crazy on this restart. And what De Grassi cannot do is he can't be on the defensive here. He's got to be on the somewhat the attack, because if he's on the defensive, that's when there's going to be lots of carbon fiber line on the track.
If he's trying to defend, he's going to get hit. He's got to try and be passing.
Well, we expected a dramatic race, but I don't think any of us could have expected what we've seen here with Mahindra, arguably the hottest team in the series right now, basically losing both of their cars. There's Nick Heidfeld's machine, Felix Rosenqvist well to the back.
We need to slow the pace car down so they can get that car out of the way and we get this thing finished under green.
Absolutely.
We do not want to finish under safety car.
No, absolutely.
This is like a bunch of New York taxi drivers. They're all passionate to each other.
You don't want to lap the field, do you?
That's brilliant.
Bird, Vergne, Abt, Sarrazin, De Grassi. Duval, Turvey, Gasly, who's been all the way to the back and back up to mid-pack again. Dillman and Prost, the top 10.
And look at the cars we've got at the front. Don't forget Alex Lynn on pole for DS Virgin. Sam Bird currently leads for DS Virgin, but behind him we've got 2 Techeetah cars, easy for me to say, and both Abschaeffler Audi Sport cars. So you can see the chassis that are working really well. Nick Heidfeld has gone back to help the track workers because, after all, that's just the gentlemanly thing to do, and he's nothing if not understanding of the labours of the corner workers. So one poor corner worker on his own with Nick Heidfeld. Luckily, the car's not so badly damaged that it's, I don't think, running on its belly.
Yeah, it will be a bit. I think that's going to be a hard push.
Yeah, it is a hard push.
Yeah, with that rear wheel askew.
I'm surprised they haven't sent out more to get this thing going. You know, there's the DS Virgin car parked there.
Techeetah
As things stand right now, the Techeetah team in line to get their best finish as a team this year.
Sam Bird is just hoping the safety car stays out till the checkered flag, and Jean-Éric Vergne is hoping that it gets the heck out of the way as soon as humanly possible. And there is the Techeetah team.
They've had so much bad luck. They're just thinking, please, come on. If you just need, you know, give us something.
Yeah, you know, Jeb's lost races with damage, with miscues in the pit lane, have
mechanical
positions
failure
in qualifying. Yeah, so
that was essentially a new team this year. And they used the sort of the carcass of an old team, but there was a lot of growing pains, and they really have sort of got it all together, and they're functioning much better as a group now.
Yeah, and I think having the addition of Stephane Sarrazin in the lineup has just sort of helped, if you excuse the pun, electrify them even further, because those two guys together really get on. First of all, they get on so well, and second, they really spark off each other. They really, you know, push each other along positively.
And that's the Renault powertrain. Here we go. You see some of the marshals pushing the Mahindra off the track.
They still haven't gotten that Mahindra car behind the wall.
We've now got some bodies around it. I think that's a photographer.
But the problem is it'll go forward more easily, it seems, than it'll go backwards.
Yeah.
And even that, it's not going forward.
A crane or a jack to get the car off the ground.
Well, we are now on lap 41 of 43.
And at this point, Sam Bird's thinking, yeah, guys, take your time. Take your time, that's fine. as much time as you need. Don't damage that car.
Yeah, what he does not need is one green flag lap.
Keep as it is at the moment.
Okay, understood.
Well, let's pick the bones out of this as of now. 11th on the grid to 5th place for Lucas de Grassi. Could he have expected more out of this?
It's not over yet.
Jeff is dropping back lots onto safety car.
Sam Bird worried about
in this lap.
Okay, the safety car is coming in this lap.
You
Safety car is coming
there will
in
be
this lap.
2 laps after this one. There will be 2 laps after this one. And
to
just
go.
a reminder, Jeff and out.
We've got a 2-lap sprint. Now, the key to this is going to be this initial kick off the restart. They've got to go, and Jeff has got to get as close to Sam Bird as he possibly can, not to allow that gap, so he can make a move very quickly and try and catch him by surprise.
Sam is backing the field right up off the safety car. Look, he's weaving. The key thing here, and you heard the engineer talking about it, is his front brake temperatures. Sam cannot afford to outbrake himself into the first corner. He can also not afford to have Jean-Éric Vergne come down the inside. 2 to go as we go green here in New York City. A cliffhanger of epic proportions for Sam Bird and Jean-Éric Vergne.
Perfect restart from Sam Bird so far. This next braking zone into turn 6 is going to be the key. Look at, you see, look, Duval dancing on the brakes.
And again, all the way through the race, it's been about the top 5. It's still about the top 5. Again, Loic Duval has lost touch with them. And for a man who's won Le Mans twice, who knows a thing or two about restarting, it's not him. Bird still leads. There's Jean-Éric Vergne. The yellow highlights of Daniel Abt looking for a podium finish in 3rd. Can Stephane Sarrazin get him in the 2nd black and gold Techeetah car? Can they have a double podium? It'll be 1 to go at the line.
Watch for Sarrazin into 1. Is he close enough? A little, just a fraction too far back there.
And don't forget, the checkered flag comes out at the finish line, which is not on the start-finish straight. It's not where the gantry is. There's Richard Branson. Is Sam Bird finally going to get the win out of this one that he's threatened all the way through so far today? Will he be the first man ever to win an automobile race in New York City? Sam Bird extending his advantage over Jean-Éric Vergne. Remaining energy is more than enough to do another few laps, in fact. And Jean-Éric Vergne not close enough.
That's where the flag will come out right there.
White flag lap. Here we go. Jeff is there. Daniel Abt outbreaks himself, gives away the podium, or does he?
His teammate.
Lucas de Grassi gets through. I was wondering whether he'd done it deliberately for Lucas de Grassi, but Techeetah have 2 cars on the podium. Alan McNish and the Abt Schaeffler Audi Sport team can barely believe it. Wow, Sam Bird down below 10% usable energy, doesn't matter. He is leading the field. Jean-Éric Vergne in 2nd and Stephane Sarrazin. Will that be his first podium?
Listen to the crowd.
Yeah.
They're liking what they see. Oh, Jeff was there. He was
Jeff
obviously
having a long, late lunge.
It was obviously a big lunge, and you can see the difference coming off the corner.
Well, that was a proper last lap lunge, wasn't it?
A good lad. You wouldn't expect anything less
He
of
went from a
Jeff.
2nd behind to an inch behind, but there wasn't enough of an overlap. And for Lucas de Grassi, this race has really worked well. From 11th, he can't have expected to win it, but he's going to be just off the podium. 4th place points. Victory in New York City for Sam Bird, the first man to win a race in the Big Apple.
Well done, Sam. Excellent stuff, mate.
That was impressive.
Jean-Éric Vergne and Stephane Sarrazin.
You sure this is a checkered flag?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
You're going to love Sam.
Awesome
He's the
stuff, mate.
ultimate
Well done.
pessimist.
May not have been the plan, but it'll do.
Yes,
Victory.
boys! Yeah! Thank you, Sir Richard. Thank you, Alex Ty. And thank you to everybody in the team. Amazing, amazing. Well done, boys. We did it. First win in New York. Big win for us. Big win. Big win, boys.
Well done, ladies.
We'll let the boss talk to him. Shall we have a little chat with Sam Bird? What do we think? Sam, is Dario in the booth. Congratulations, my friend. First win in New York City.
Yeah! Hi, Dario. I've been looking forward to speaking to you again. It's been too long.
That was a fabulous race. You really nailed it there. Well done.